y'all, welcome to the filling station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in this market or to just learn from the market. But first, let me give my disclaimer, y'all. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only, but if you could please like, share, subscribe, y'all. We learn and we grow together. With that being said, let's get started. So we are now looking at AMD. We closed at 177.44, and as you can see, pre-market low as of now is around the 175.13. What's interesting is, I have this level of 175.58 as support. Are we coming back to bounce from here, or are we going to break down? That's why we trade what we see, right? So where are the trouble places? Back to the upside, we will need to get back above 176.37. We could possibly have a little trouble around that one. Let's see, the 177.13. We have the 50 EMA, 20 EMA, and a level here of 177.60. So that could be a strong resistance area as of now. Now, breaking that, the next level I have is the ATR trailing stop, which is around the 178.11 for AMD. So that could very well be a trouble place. Breaking that, we could possibly have trouble 178.98, 179.50, 180.56, 180.174. Breaking that 182.31 will be this high here. We could possibly have trouble there. Something stopped us before, right? So breaking that, we could possibly have trouble again around the 183.24 area. So if you're trading AMD to the upside, those are possible areas of resistance or rejection areas. Now, back to the downside, breaking under the 175.58, I would say the 175.19 area, something stopped us here, and we can draw that because I look at the body of the candles, and if I look at these two, it should line up kind of close to the other two, right? So these two line up with these here. So something stopped us at the 175.16. Breaking that level brings us back to 174.36. Breaking that 173.74, 173.11. There's a few layers here down to to the 172.72 all the way down to 172.07. So let's go back to that 173.11 down to the 172.07. We could very well get stopped out, right? Breaking that level brings us back to the 200 EMA is right where a level that I have marked at the 174.44. I like to see those, y'all. Simple support and resistance, marking your gathering spots, or what caused us to, or stopped us from stopping or going. It's where we mark those lines. I needed to say that, right? So breaking the 171.44 for AMD today, 170.89, and then again at 170.33. So if AMD is something that you trade today, I said often, y'all, trade carefully. Why? Because in this market, anything is possible. Nothing is guaranteed. So we are looking at MERA. We closed at $700, and as you can see, we had a market low here of $699.91. Seems like we bounced from this only to come back to this gathering spot, try to bounce here, find support, only to get rejected at a level here we have marked. I like to see those. So that 708.25 was a rejection area. Support place was around the 704.83. So MERA is actually trading in that zone. So where are the trouble places? Now, as of now, back to the upside, 706.90, breaking that level, 708.27, which is this area here, breaking that. There's some strong resistance, in my opinion, for MERA right here at this 708.83. We have the ATR trailing stop, the 50 EMA, and a level that I have marked here. So we definitely, if you're trading MERA today, not financial advice, let me say that, the 708.83 area could be a strong resistance area. Now, breaking that 709.86 and again at 711.27, should we break that level 711.98 or 712.03 could be a resistance area, and breaking that 712.73, which is right where that 200 EMA is, and a level that I have marked is very close to that. So if you're trading MERA to the upside today, those are possible areas of rejection. It seems like we found support here pre-market at this 705.50. Breaking that level brings us back to the 704.83, and breaking that 704.13. Breaking that brings us back to the 703.54. Something stopped us here, so we definitely need to remember that. Now, breaking that brings us back to 702.47, 701.93, 701.44, and $700.99. Keep in mind, those are several areas of support that we could very well find support. And should we break that level, just know that we can come back and retest the 699.96 area. So if MERA is something that you trade today, I said often, y'all trade carefully. Why? Because in this market, anything is possible. Nothing is guaranteed. Let's look at NVDA today just to see where we are. We closed at 175.51, and it seems to be trading in what I like to say a gathering spot, right? Or the consolidation area. As of right now, support is around the 176.16, resistance around the 176.89. Where are the trouble places? We would need to break back above the 176.89. We could possibly have trouble again at that 177.40. Y'all see that's where the ATR trailing stop is, and a level that we have marked kind of right at the same place, right? So should we break that, in my opinion, could be a very strong resistance area. Break for NVIDIA today. Breaking that, we could possibly have trouble again. 177.80. Breaking that, 178.25. Again here at the 178.58, and breaking that level. Let's see. We could possibly have trouble again here at the 178.86 area, which is here. I need to remove that. 178.86 could be a resistance area for us as of now, breaking that level 179.16 and 179.51. Now to the downside for NVIDIA, as you can see, this area here is our support, 176.16. Breaking that area, we could come back to the 178.58. Something held us up in this area here, so that could be an area of support. Back to the downside, breaking that, we could possibly have trouble 175.47 or support around the 175.47. Again, the 200 EMA is right in an area that we have marked at 175.22. That could be an area of support for us. Breaking that level, 174.92, 174.68, 174.52, and breaking that 174.18. which puts us under the 200 EMA on this 30-minute chart as of now. So if you are trading NVIDIA today, I say trade carefully. Why? Because in this market, anything is possible. Nothing is guaranteed. I say that often, right? So we are now looking at the SPY. We closed at 635.26. It's interesting to see us still at the 635, 638, 640 area. So the SPY is definitely telling us a story, right? So as of now, it seems to be trading in a gathering spot, as I like to say it, right? So as of now, support is around those 635.89, resistance 630, 634. That is the zone that we're trading in, or the consolidation area that we're trading in. Breaking that, we could possibly have trouble again at that 630, 658. Breaking that 637.08. The ATR trailing stop 637.96. That 637.35 could be an area of rejection, and what's really close is the 637.46 area that we have here. So this could be a strong resistance area for the SPY today. However, breaking that, and we see that kind of here, right? So breaking that level, we could very well come back to, let's say, around this level of 638.02, and should we break that level, 638.30 could be a rejection area, and breaking that 638.72, 639.08, and breaking that 639.64. Now back to the downside. Right now, that 200 EMA could be our support that's holding us up, because it was at the 635.89. That 200 EMA as of now is around that 635.70, 635.83 area. So breaking this level, we could very well come back to 635.40, and breaking that 634.85. And should we break that level, 634.36, and breaking that brings us back to 633. 63. And keep in mind, we could very well get stopped out in this area here, right? So breaking that brings us back to the 633.37 area for the SPY. Now breaking that 633.37, we could come back to the 631.76, but keep in mind there's a big distance between this area and this area, so we could very well, get stopped out in this area here. So if this SPY is something that you trade today, I said trade carefully, mark your levels, and once it goes against your why, get out. Live to trade another day, right? So we are now looking at Tesla. And I say it so often, y'all, Tesla does what Tesla does, right? We closed at 321.20. We had a 318.25 area on low on yesterday, and it seems as if Tesla is an inside day candle for today, so we will get to that. As of now, it's trading sideways or in the gathering spot, as I like to say. Seems like we've bounced off this 200 EMA on this 30-minute chart. So what are our trouble places? Support at around the 321.21. We can say the resistance, we'll use the 50 EMA right now at around this 322.04 area. Now breaking that level for Tesla today, we could possibly have trouble 322.37, 322.60, 322.84. Now at this 323.36 area up to this ATR trailing stop, which is around a 323.63, there's a few layers of resistance there. Let's see if I can make, yes, there's a lot of layers of resistance down from the 323.36 area up to the 323.74. is a great deal of resistance. In my opinion, this could be a strong resistance area. Now breaking that means we broke through a strong area of resistance, so our next level will be around the 324.15, 324.52, 324.80, 325.19, 325.36, 325.66, and breaking that level brings us back to 326.12. Now 326.29 is our trigger for the inside day candle. Should we break this level, we could possibly have trouble somewhere around 326.85. Now let's see where our target for Tesla today is. Breaking through the level of 326.29, we could possibly have a target of 330.49. So if we should break the 326.29, we could possibly have a target today for Tesla at the 330.39 today. And again, not financial advice. I say it so often, y'all, in this market, anything is possible. So let's look to the downside for Tesla now. Back to the downside. Let's say we break under 321.47. We could very well come back to this 321.18 and find our support area here. Breaking that brings us back to 320.64. Again, there's another layer right here at 320.51. Breaking that level, 320.30, 320.04, 319.79, 319.62, not very far away. Breaking that, something stopped us here in this area of 319.33. Should we break that level, the next level is 318.87, 318.69. Now, the 318.67, 318.69, breaking those two areas brings us kind of close to the inside day trigger to the downside. Now, if we break under 318.26 today for Tesla, let's see, the downside target for today is 315.69. So let's go back to that 318.26 because we could very well find support here, 317.93. Let's see this area here, which is around, 317.61, not very far away. Under that level, 316.98. And should we break that 316.50, we could possibly find support 315.96, which brings us to that target of 315.69. So if Tesla is something that you trade today, I say it often, y'all, trade carefully, mark your levels, and make sure you have a reason for getting into your plan, your trade. I always say make sure you have a plan before getting into it, right? And again, I look at support and resistance on a much smaller scale. That's why we see so many different lines on my charts. It works for me. Now, trading is just about, coming up with that strategy that works best for you and for you to have the discipline to execute your plan. Let me say that again. I hope that everyone have a very profitable and a very productive day today. If you could, please like, share, subscribe, y'all. We learn and we grow together. So until next time, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others.